Ahoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Pirate National Committee live stream. I am your host, Jolly Mitch of the Chicagoland Nye, the Illinois Pirate Party, captain of the U.S. Pirate Party, and as always, a friend of the show. I will go around in order and ask for IDs in the order in which I see them. And the first person I see is Drew.
Drew Bingaman, Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Joel.
Joel Lightfoot, Maryland.
Thank you. Mars.
Mars Vale, Ohio Pirate Party, and Webmaster.
Thank you. Is that Mikia?
Yes. I am Eva Cruzel from the Arizona Pirate Party. Potentially here with Maggie.
Thank you. Joe.
Joseph Onorowski, Massachusetts.
Thank you. David.
I'm co-chair of Florida Pirate Party.
Thank you kindly. Sorry, the order keeps getting messed up on me, so I was trying to call it an order, but then they're jumping on me. So if I miss you, let me know. But next I see Darren.
I'm Darren McKeeman, California Pirate Party and U.S. Pirate Party Treasurer.
Thank you. Eli.
Eli McGee, Massachusetts Representative.
Thank you. Jester.
Ashley Melody, interim rep for the Indiana Pirates.
Thank you. Wanda.
Wanda Ward, Florida Pirate Party, and the U.S. Pirate Party Lookout.
Thank you. Frank.
Frank Flores, Texas.
Thank you. James.
Hello, I'm James Wynn from the North Carolina Pirate Party.
Thank you. Renine.
Renine Radzic, Illinois.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ty.
Hello, United States Pirate Party VC and West Virginia Observer.
Thank you, Ty. Well, thank you, Did I miss anyone in those in that introduction? Did I hit everybody up? Because I apologize, Jitsy's jumping on me more than usual. I'm also trying to change the meeting for those of you who's watching at home. Hello, Chris. That's perfect timing. We are actually doing IDs. Did you want to introduce yourself? You just need first and last name and state.
All right, I'm Chris Erickson. I'm from Vermont, and I went to your other podcast, and I was there all alone saying, well, they abandoned ship. I'm here all alone running the podcast at the other link that you had sent me.
I thought that you may have received you may have been at the wrong link, so I sent you the, I'm glad you're here. Chris, we're just going to go over old news, some motion, some business, and then we can go into business with you. But for those of you that don't know, Chris was on Talk the Plank yesterday. In fact, speaking of, I forgot to change the title of the video. So those of you watching at home who pointed that out to me, thank you. But Chris will be joining us today to ask for the United States Pirate Party's endorsement. So, Chris, thank you. We won't keep you long. We will get to you as soon as we're done with old business. But that is everyone with their IDs. I'm going to jump in to ask if there's any candidate news, state news, or committee reports. Drew, go ahead.
Just real quick, I did a public event last weekend. It was called the Beef and Brew Block Party in my town. So it rained all day until about 4 o'clock, and the party was 11 to 9. So the first half of the day was pretty miserable. Did have some good conversations with voters though, especially later in the day. And it looks like I even picked up a volunteer to collect signatures. So it was pretty good overall. The first half of the day sucked though, but that's what happens when you do festivals and stuff on the campaign trail. So
right on. That's all great news. Thank you, Drew. And hoping to just continue for great news moving forward. Every time you give a report, it seems to be getting better on the campaign trail. So that's fantastic news. I love hearing that. Thank you, Drew. Any other reports from any committees, any state parties, any candidates, anything? Wanda, go ahead.
The Florida Pirate Party met yesterday to ratify the recent amendment to the PNC bylaws from 2 meetings ago, I believe. So we voted in favor of that. Florida has ratified that amendment to the bylaws. And I believe Arizona also voted on that and ratified that at their meeting as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any other news? Darren, go ahead.
Oh, the California Pirate Party rebooted our website. It was broken for a long time, so just letting people know about that. It's
Right on.
capirates.org.
Well, it's glad to have it back up and running, and I'm glad to have California at the meeting. So thank you, Darren. Arizona, go ahead.
Yes. At our branch, we have finished our t-shirt design contest. The submissions are ready for voting. Our next in-person meeting is going to be this Saturday at 2 to 3 at the local Oro Valley Library. Later, 2 days before Memorial Day on the Saturday beforehand, we're going to table at an event called A Future Without War, where we are going to finally start our food drive with a membership list sign-up, a donation system, and more.
All right. Fantastic. Arizona, thank you. Again, all very exciting developments. And then let us know about that. What was the rally called? End to War?
A Future Without War.
A Future Without War. Yeah, right on. Thank you. Is there any other reports or anything? I'm hearing none. And if I'm hearing none, we can jump into old business first. And Wanda, did you have, were you able to pull up the wording for the bylaws change? And if not the precise wording, we knew exactly what section it was where we just wanted to tweak it. Did you want to present once again for the public the case, the tabled motion from last week?
Yes. Motion to amend Article. Let me double check just to be sure I've got the right one. Article 6, Section 1, Subsection 3 to read, quote, a quorum shall be 50% of all states where all member and probationary states are counted as one.
I'm sorry, everyone. Can you repeat what article and section that was one more time?
This is Article 6, Section 1, Subsection 3.
Thank you. Article 6, subsection 1 pertains to PNC meeting quorum. Currently, it states a quorum shall be 50% of all states, probationary states, and observer states, where member states will be counted as one, and probationary states, observer states are counted as 1/2. Now, that is currently not how we do things, and the motion is to simply amend it to reflect the reality on the ground. Now, of course, then, I don't believe, did we find last week, was there a section that actually defines what an observer state is?
I believe so. Let me go back up. Let's see here. See here. See here. At least one delegate from each state pirate party, which does not yet meet the qualifications set forth in Article 3, Section 2, here and after, referred to as observers. So it's a state that sends at least one delegate to the PNC that does not meet the qualifications for PNC membership.
So essentially, as defined by the bylaws, an observer state is simply anyone who attends the PNC that does not have a vote. That is practically as I'm reading it. And if someone wants to define that differently or believes I'm defining that incorrectly, please speak up on it. But as it stands, the way that the bylaws state, it would be that the PNC members count as one in terms of quorum, and any observers or any probationary members would count as 1/2 in terms of attendance. We haven't really been doing that. We've just been making a quorum based on who the actual state members are in attendance. Otherwise we could have been using, James as one half a representative and Ty as half a representative, but then that just isn't how we've been doing things. So I guess our options is follow the motion and simply correct the language to better represent the reality in which we actually conduct these meetings, or we would have to simply just start saying that observer members count for half an attendance point, but but they still would not get a vote. That would be the other thing is observer members wouldn't count as a voting member. They would also only count as 1/2 of a representative in terms of quorum.
I'd like to second the motion as it was stated.
Thank you. And then, so we do have the motion on the table in a second. Joe, you may go ahead.
I would just like to call the question, seeing that this is nice and clean and well written, and I would like to call the vote.
Fantastic. I will. Is there? I raise for any objections, but if I hear no objections, I will go one by one with individual roll call. We did have a brief discussion about this last week. I call it brief, but it was like an hour long. We did have a discussion about this last week, but it was a straightforward issue. The big issue with the board was simply we wanted to do a bylaws change in public. That was ultimately the key thing. That if we were going to make a decision like this, that the public deserves to know how we came to our conclusions, how we did this, and even if it's something as little as this, it's something I'm glad we waited until today to do. Truthfully, that said, the second is has been called for this motion, which is a bylaws change, and there is a call for the vote. I will call it individually. California.
Aye.
Pennsylvania.
Aye.
Thank you. Maryland.
Aye.
Thank you. Arizona.
Aye.
Thank you. Massachusetts.
Aye.
Thank you. Florida.
Aye.
Thank you. Indiana.
Aye from here.
Thank you. Ohio.
Aye.
Illinois.
Aye.
Thank you. And I believe I just hit up all the voting members. That does seem to be. Frank, I knew it. Damn it. I'm sorry. Frank, Texas.
Present?
Okay, thank you. I was counting on my fingers and I swear I lost count. That said, that means we also have all voting members of PNC here today. So we're rocking and rolling. I apologize, Frank. I almost couldn't believe that when I had 9 fingers. I'm like, surely I hit everybody. There's no way we have everybody. That said, motion passes. So Wanda, thank you for waiting the week. We have it. It is yours. The bylaws have been officially passed. That said, I am putting out a call that I need access to the bylaws so I can update them and reflect the changes. I did put that motion out a week ago, or the notification out a week ago. Haven't heard anything back. I will try again. And Mars, I'm working on that for you too. So thank you. Is there any old business besides that we want to get into, or shall we jump straight into endorsements with Chris?
Hold And Lily had something she wanted me to bring up for platform committee that she sent in. Can I go ahead and talk about that?
Floor is yours.
Alrighty. The platform committee has adopted language for the putting individuals before institutions plank that it wanted to submit to the PNC for approval. I will read it out loud and then I will send it in the chat for everyone to read. Putting individuals before institutions. The Pirate Party stands for individuals over institutions, both governmental and non-governmental. We believe that the people hold the ultimate power in this nation, and institutions should not exist to crush the will of the people. With the backdrop of Citizens United and a steady erosion of individual power, taking money out of politics ensures our government serves the people rather than deep-pocketed interests. The United States Pirate Party will always put the needs of the people first and work to reform institutions that do not serve them.
Thank you, Wanda. And as you paste that into the chat, I will point out to the people watching at home and to the people listening in the room, that is a simple addition of just simply from the word Citizens United to, I believe, the word pocketed interests. Because otherwise the wording is exactly the same. It is simply reinserting a commitment against Citizens United and a commitment for taking money out of politics. Which I think is a nice, easy fix. I think it was accidentally axed when we updated institutions or individuals before institutions. So I think getting it back is a quick fix. That is the motion on the table from Platform Committee. Wanda, are you putting that forward as a motion to adopt from the Platform Committee on behalf of Florida, or from Florida on behalf of the Platform Committee?
Yes.
Is there a second on the table?
I'll second.
Second.
I'll count both of them, so thank you. Do we have any discussion? Drew, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say call the question because I think we're good, but my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we're so good that I will just ask for unanimous vote. I ask, does the board accept the amendment to putting individuals before institutions?
Enthusiastically.
Aye.
Fantastic.
Aye.
Well,
yeah.
without hearing objection, I say motion passes. And we will add those amended words to the platform tonight because I do have access to the website. So I can get that changed right away. So thank you. Is there anything else? If not, then Chris, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for joining us. We give you the floor. Chris joined us last night on Talk the Plank to pitch her campaign. And now, Chris, I wanted to give you the chance. You went through the whole spiel yesterday. I was trying to keep it so you didn't have to do that twice. So today it's as simple as, give whatever elevator pitch you wish, and the floor will be yours otherwise.
All right. Hi, I'm Chris Erickson. I'm from Vermont. I'm going to be very brief. I'm opposed to corporate subsidies because taxes are taken out of your paycheck. They're sent to the IRS, and then the United States Congress votes to give away your hard-earned money to corporations for free as subsidies. And they use your hard-earned money to make products they sell internationally, worldwide, and they keep all of the profits for themselves and don't give you a share. That's wrong. That's totally and completely wrong. We either have to stop corporate subsidies, which some people call corporate welfare, or else we have to demand a share of profits every corporation makes with our hard-earned tax dollars called subsidies. It's just stealing from the American public. Second thing I'd like to mention about the Pentagon. Now, besides the issue that I'm totally opposed to genocide, what's going on is you pay your hard-earned taxes to the IRS. They're taken right out of your paycheck. Then the United States Congress votes to give them to the Pentagon. The Pentagon hands out your hard-earned tax dollars to different defense contractor laboratories for research, design, and development. Under the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980, the lead researcher owns the patent or the copyright invented. And then the lead researcher makes deals with the defense contractors to produce the new bombs and weapons and drones and jets and sell them worldwide to our allies. Noticed a couple nights ago, President Trump said China is going to buy a couple hundred new jets. So the defense contractors are making a fortune, billions and trillions of dollars, selling products to our allies, but we don't get a share of the profits, even though we paid for the research, design, and development. Now, we have to repeal the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980. Prior to 1980, we, the people, owned the patents and the copyrights under work made for hire law. Under work made for hire law, prior to 1980, whoever was paying for the research, design, and development owned the U.S. patents and copyrights. Okay, now number 3 is an NIH. Again, taxes are taken out of your paycheck, sent to the IRS. The United States Congress votes to give your hard-earned tax dollars to the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and they hand out your hard-earned money to all kinds of laboratories for research, design, and development of new prescription drugs and medical devices, like the legs and the arms and the things. I forget the word for it. Prosthesis. All right. So
Pegs.
Again, under the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980, the lead researcher is allowed to own the patents and the copyrights for the new prescription drugs and medical devices. The lead researcher makes contracts with pharmaceutical corporations who produce the new prescription drugs and medical devices and sells them worldwide for billions in profits, but they don't give you a share, even though you paid for the research, design, and development. Prior to 1980, it was work made for hire. Whoever paid for the research, design, and development owned the patents. Since 1980, we have been totally ripped off. The American public has been totally, completely ripped off of our rights to owning the patents. Next, marijuana. The Republicans are a bunch of hypocrites. It's mostly Republicans keeping marijuana illegal under federal law. And these Republicans who are hypocrites claim to be religious people. And the Old Testament Holy Bible says in Genesis 1, verse 29, good God Almighty, gave us every seed-bearing plant. There is no reason for marijuana to be illegal. Next is the benefits trap. People get caught in the benefits trap. If you're making low wages, if you're making minimum wage, and you've got all kinds of childcare expenses, you could end up getting food stamps and Medicaid. But if you get a few extra hours at work, or you get a second job, and your paychecks are a little bit higher than they used to be, you could be disqualified from the food stamps and the Medicaid. Now, this is devastating to some people because they can lose their prescription drug benefits, and without certain prescription drugs, they can't work. And so that's called the benefits trap. So that's got to go. We have to stop the benefits trap. In Massachusetts, they have an issue of somebody's trying to ban cell phones for children under age 14. That's wrong. A cell phone is a computer. It's nothing but a computer, a miniature computer. And kids need to learn whatever they can from their little miniature computers. They shouldn't be taken away from children. Those are basically my main issues at the moment. I'd like to get elected to the United States Congress. I'm 74 years old. I have arthritis. I can't go out and get the petition signatures for myself. I live in Vermont. Now, if I could get volunteers from Massachusetts or any state to come to Vermont, the best place to go is Burlington, the largest city in Vermont. There's a campground called North Beach Campground in Burlington, Vermont. You can walk from the campground along Lake Champlain or ride a bicycle on the bike path, and you can walk into Burlington. You can ride up and down miles and miles of the bike path and collect petition signatures. I got a sore throat. Vermont is a very low petition signature state. I only need 500 petition signatures to get on the ballot. 20 people could volunteer to come to Vermont, stay at a campground, and collect 25 signatures each. That would get me on the ballot. The interesting thing is that Vermont, like Massachusetts, is a state where you can put a political designation on the ballot. So on the independent candidate petition, at the top, there's a space and an asterisk in the word party. So you can write in Pirate Party. So if I had 20 volunteers to get 25 signatures each, they download the petition, go to the dollar store, get a clipboard, get a black ink pen, and write in pirate before the asterisk in the word party. That would put the Pirate Party on the official election ballot in Vermont with me as a candidate for a representative to United States Congress. That's what I would like to accomplish. That's my speech.
Well, perfect. Thank you, Chris. I'll open the floor up to any questions. If anyone had any questions for Chris, I will call on you as you come. If not, we can jump right into discussion. Chris Erickson is seeking our endorsement. So does anyone have any thoughts or opinions or questions? Frank, go ahead.
Yes, Chris, thank you so much for voicing your opinions and for seeking this position and for fighting against the capitalists that are desperately trying to take over everything and destroy everyone and everything's lives. So I appreciate that, and I wish you all the success, and I hope we can give it to you.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you. Is there anything else? Wanda, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about what you had said in regards to marijuana legalization. If you had any further reasoning beyond the religious one you mentioned, like a secular reasoning for supporting the legalization of marijuana. That was just my question.
No, as I said, I'm 74 years old now. In 1995, my husband died. He was very young. He was 10 years younger than me, and he died at age 33 of cancer. So that's what got me started on the marijuana movement. I heard a feedback. That's what got me started learning about the marijuana movement. And by 2002, I had learned enough about it. I was totally and completely convinced we absolutely have to have medical marijuana, and we need to have medical marijuana, you've just got to have marijuana legalized. So in 2002, I ran for governor of Vermont, and using the descriptive word, the political designation, I put the Make Marijuana Legal Party on the official election ballot in Vermont in 2002. There were 10 candidates for governor. I came in 4th out of 10. Every 2 years after that, I ran for a political office in Vermont, either governor, U.S. senator, or U.S. congressperson, every 2 years. And I never won an election, but by 2018, marijuana was finally legalized under state law in Vermont, but it's still illegal under federal law. So the battle goes on.
Thank you, Chris. And to further add some context to this, Chris was actually pointed our direction by our friends at the Legal Marijuana Now Party. So there is a clearly Chris has been an advocate for legal marijuana legalization for quite some time. And to the religious versus secular point, Wanda, I do want to that I understand 100% your question or why the clarification was needed. However, I do think that was more of a point to point out the hypocrisy of the Republicans claiming to be so
Right.
religious while making a plant illegal. But
Right.
that
They're clearly not really religious.
yes,
They're
yes,
a bunch of hypocrites. Right. Total
absolutely.
hypocrites.
Okay.
Yes. But thank you, Wanda, for asking and for the point of clarification. And then Mars, go ahead.
So
Oh, and I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, I want to interrupt. If you look me up on Wikipedia or on the internet, Chris is spelled Chris. There's no H. Erickson has no K. It's Ericson. Just Google me, look on YouTube videos. I've been around for over 20 years and I've never won in an election, but the Democrats always steal my issues. So as long as the issues go forward, it takes someone who's fearless to initiate a new issue. I mean, the Democrats wouldn't dare talk about marijuana when I started.
Hell yeah. Amen. You know, that's the one thing is they'll adopt your issues and pretend to care about them. But, you know, the fact that someone is willing to push the issue forward, uh, you know, they will listen. And if they're stealing our ideas and it's getting out to the general public and they're hearing those ideas, that is powerful for having ideas move forward. So, Mars, I apologize. You may go ahead. And then Joe right after.
All right, so I have a few questions about a few of your points. Because fundamentally, I do agree, but I would like to know, are you're getting rid of, different types of tax usage things? Is it black and white, totally getting rid of it? Or are you still, allowing for exceptions and things? Because some of these things are actually very helpful, and some corporate subsidies are used for things like, say, in my occupation, I'm a driver. And, things like transit, paying for gas, paying for mileage, paying for uniforms. I mean, I hate corporations as much as the next person, but I mean, medical research is important. I just am wondering, is it as black and white as get rid of it entirely, or is there a little more to it than that?
What I'm saying is that when a corporation gets billions in subsidies, there's only about 400 or 500 corporations that get literally billions in subsidies. The main point would be to go after them and say, when they're taking our money and turning it around and making trillions of dollars, that we deserve a share of the profits. So when there is clearly a share of, when there's clearly profits made from the subsidies, then we deserve a share of the profits. Now, if the truck drivers are not making, if the truck drivers association or corporation isn't making any profit from the subsidies, they're just making up for the difference in gas prices or whatever, then I wouldn't think of going after them. I'd only want to go after the ones who are clearly using our money to make profits for themselves and not giving us a share.
It's almost like we should be taxing them more.
Wow.
No, the reason for me not saying taxation is because if you do your research, only 400 or 500 companies are getting the $1 billion subsidies. So if you taxed them, it would be unfair to the thousands and thousands of corporations who are not getting billions of dollars in subsidies. So why raise taxes on thousands and thousands of corporations when only 400 or 500 are getting billions in subsidies, and let's just go after a share of the profits? And then as far as medical research, with the Bayh-Dole Act, the original reasoning of the Bayh-Dole Act in 1980 is they claimed that it would incentivize more research. But what it has actually incentivized is making all kinds of prescription drugs that only half work. They'll say, oh, well, this prescription drug is going to do this for you, but it's also got 5 bad side effects. So what it has incentivized is making a lot of garbage drugs.
I mean, I take quite a few prescriptions, and I'm fairly certain it is very hard to make medications that don't have any side effects.
But the proliferation of these has increased drastically. And of the prescriptions you're taking, how many are sold worldwide? And when you can clearly see that the pharmaceutical corporations are making billions, if not trillions, in profits, why shouldn't we get back a share of the profits since we paid for the research, design, and development? If you invested in a local business, if somebody said to you, "Can I borrow $10,000 or just give me $10,000 to start a business?" you'd say, "Well, if I'm going to give you $10,000, give me a share of the profits." So, whereas the pharmaceutical corporations are making incredible profits, they should be returning us a share of the profits, or we should own a share of the patents and copyrights for the pharmaceuticals.
I think that McKean made a good point in the chat.
Mars, did you have any follow-up questions? Or I know you said you had a couple questions. Did you have anything pertaining to that, or can I come back to you in a circle by getting to Joe, then Jester, then you again?
No, I kind of asked everything in a bit of a run-on sentence, so.
Right on. In that case, Joe, then Jester, then David.
Miss Erickson, it is a pleasure meeting you as a former candidate for state representative for the Massachusetts Pirate Party. I appreciate your wisdom, and I very much appreciate your statesmanship in getting the Democratic Party, because we're choked out by the Democratic Party here in Massachusetts as well. And I got them to adopt a lot of things. I got them to start working on projects in my own city because I was stirring up so much noise. And even just in my off comments, they puckered up and got back to work and started doing what they needed to do because I gave them quite the black eye. So I appreciate that you'd be concerned about them adopting your policies over you getting yourself elected. So thank you for that. That makes me feel better. But to my question, ma'am, first, I just want to know that you're looking for our endorsement, correct? Why have you seen our planks? Would you think about becoming a pirate? And starting a chapter in Vermont. Okay.
Yes, to start a party in Vermont, you have to have 10 town committees before you can get a candidate on the ballot. So that's a long, slow process to get 10 town committees in order to get a candidate on the ballot. But under the independent candidate law, an independent candidate can use what Vermont calls the 3 descriptive word rule, which Massachusetts calls the political designation rule. And like I said, if you look at the petition at vermontparty.com, the website domain I bought is vermontparty.com. Look at the petition. At the top, you'll see a space, an asterisk, and the word party. So when you download the petition, you write in the word pirate, and then you go out and collect the petition signatures. So if I have 500 petition signatures that say pirate, then the Pirate Party will go on the official election ballot in Vermont.
Joe, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, so I appreciate that you're trying to establish the Pirate Party. My thought was more, have you thought about starting a Vermont Pirate chapter when this is all said and done?
So, Chris, what he's asking with that is what we have in the Pirate Party are state chapters. So, I come from the Illinois Pirate Party as well as Renine. Darren comes from the California Pirates. Joel's from the Maryland Pirates. What Joe is asking is, would you be interested in sticking around long enough to help form a Vermont Pirate Party?
Sure, but in Vermont, we don't call it state chapters. We call it town committees. It's a little different.
It would be a little different, but I think the Vermont Pirate Party would be more from our end. Would you be willing to stick around to help? I know it wouldn't be,
Sure.
it wouldn't be a state chapter in the eyes of Vermont, but from the eyes of the United States Pirate Party, we would recognize an official Vermont Pirate Party after proper steps and whatnot.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Joe, anything else? Otherwise, I'll jump right into Jester.
Thank you for translating, Mitch, and that is all.
Thank you. In that case, Jester, go right ahead.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Fantastic.
Yes, I can hear you.
So, Chris, as one of the younger, reps here at the Pirates, one of the concerns with the youth is just the sheer age of our representatives in Congress. What would you say to your detractors who might, say, you're 74, you're almost 10 years above the average age of a congressperson? How do you think your youth voters are going to feel with you running in this position here?
Okay, first of all, 1/3 of members of the United States Congress, House and Senate are over age 70. 1/3 are over age 70. This is because we have the historical lived perspective. I was born in 1952. My father was a United States patent attorney. He worked for the federal government. I was born in Washington, D.C. So these patent and copyright issues are deeply ingrained in me from, being raised by a patent attorney who talked about it. So I have a long lived experience of what life was like before the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980 and afterwards. So lived experience is really important. And someone who doesn't have that lived experience doesn't feel the issues in the same way. When I was young, gay marriage was totally illegal. You didn't even mention it. When I was young, Black people couldn't move into my neighborhood. When I was young and I visited my relatives in Florida, my uncle was a minister, of the Presbyterian Church. And he stated in 1967, when I was a kid, that he wanted to have Black and white people worship together. The Ku Klux Klan burnt down part of his home. So first they left and they, came up north for a while, and then they went back down to Florida, and he was too afraid to ever go back to the ministry. So he got a job at the Miami-Dade Fire Department and worked there for 29 years. My lived experience was when I was there in Miami visiting them, and I got in the car. This was before seat belts. We got in the car, 3 people in the front seat. I was in the middle, and there was a note on the car with a crossbow saying the crossbow of the gun is pointing at your neck. I'll never forget that. That's my lived experience, being threatened because my uncle wanted to start a church that black and white people could worship together again. When my parents got divorced, they couldn't sell their house to a black person. It wasn't legal or whatever. I have all kinds of lived experience and historical perspective that a young person does not have. One third, as I said, one third of members of the United States Congress, House, and Senate are over age 70. Two of the United States senators, which is all, we only got two United States senators in Vermont, they are both over age 70, well over age 70. Bernie Sanders is literally ancient,
100%.
and Peter Welch is older than I am. So in Vermont, they are used to having ancient senators, and Bernie Sanders was a congressman before he was a senator. So it's no problem in Vermont.
Jester, any follow up? Otherwise, I'll jump into David.
No, that will be all. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you. So then David, and then Ty, and then Joel.
Okay, I was just going to go back to something that was said earlier about, the dubious things that was going on with drugs and stuff forth. It reminded me of something I had read in a book about how, the drug, Big Pharma had gone completely out of control. And one of the things they mentioned in there was an anecdote. There was a particular drug that was about to go out of patent. And right as it was about to go out of patent, of course, they discontinued the drug completely, and then they put out a new drug to take its place that was like, if anything, pricier than the previous one. Somebody else went out there and decided to check into what this particular, double check what this particular drug was like. And they went in there and basically what they had done is they put a special coating around the previous drug, put a new patent on it, and, put it out under this new price. So it's like, this is the kind of shenanigans they pull. I mean,
I read about that. You are 100% correct. I read about that, and that's the problem with the lead researcher owning the patent that we paid for.
Right on. David, any follow up? Or can I jump straight into Ty?
Go ahead and jump to Ty.
Right on. Ty, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for being here. It's pretty cool to hear you speak about these issues, and it's really cool, your campaign in general. And this is really cool because you're not the first one to talk about owning shares in companies, because we are actually basically funding these companies, right? There's a gentleman that I know that is from Wisconsin. He lives here in West Virginia now. He is 73, and I swear you two probably know each other. He has said the exact same thing, that because his position was the same thing, but he said it as like a book title. How much of this do you own? And we're talking about Amtrak, airlines, anything, all this stuff. We own a percentage of that when you follow the money back to where it came from. So I truly appreciate that stance and wholly agree with it. And then the other thing you said too, I'm not trying to misquote you, I kind of just have it here in my notes so I didn't forget about it. It was something along the lines of, for good medical research, just make it legal. Stop all this loophole stuff. Stop categorizing it as just make it legal, so that the full-blown medical research can take place without all this red tape. And I agree with that too. So for me, from a West Virginian, native, born and raised, you have my support. I like everything there. So that's it.
Right on. Thank you, Ty. And then we'll just jump straight into Joel and then Wanda.
So, good evening, and it's great to hear from you. I did go to your website and scroll through a little bit, and I see the ROI. I think there's some real value in getting a return on our investment. Are there other industries that you're targeting? And right now, I'm thinking banking, namely the Fed. I think you're muted. Either that or I'm deaf.
Guys, you are all muted. To the no.
Oh, Chris, I apologize. We cannot hear a word you're saying. The spiel you're giving was on mute. I don't think you're muted on our end. I don't know what happened to your sound, but we didn't hear your follow up to Joel's statement. No, we cannot. Could you exit out and log back in? Perhaps that would do it because it doesn't look like you're muted. So I don't know why it would be doing that.
FBI has entered the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. We started talking about the Fed. Now they've muted us.
I know who Big Brother pays for.
No, nothing yet, Chris. Oh, there we go. Hopefully she'll be back in a second then. And then when Chris is back, she can answer Joel's question and then what's
Hey,
it
man,
called?
if we can
And
get
then we'll go into
ROI
Wanda.
from the Fed, we're in good shape.
One, two,
Let's see.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Jester, I understand. And then Chris, can you now? Chris does look like you are muted on the screen. Can you unmute yourself? Because now it looks like you're physically muted.
If you press the M key, that should unmute you.
No, nothing yet. Is she right? Are you writing your answer, Chris? Are you? Oh, I guess so. Oh no! What is it? What is that? Can
The Democrats are spying.
Hey, if they steal that idea, I'm in.
They might be spying on us. Chris, if you see a microphone with a line slashed through it, if you click that button, it should unmute you. The FBI is spying. I agree. Oh. Anyways, Chris, do you see a microphone with a line through it? If you click that, it should be able to unmute you. Come on. Nothing yet.
Sorry, guys. I said the magic word.
It's okay, I guess. Let's see. It doesn't have a line through it. Could you click it anyways and just see? Click it once, click it twice, see if it changes anything. No, I guess not. I wonder if maybe you had a separate microphone get unplugged because it seemed to be muted before you had left. So I don't know if maybe that happened, but I guess Chris, if you're working on that, we can continue on. It's a shame. I'd love to hear your answer to that too. I do not have the ability to unmute you. Yeah, so
Chris, are you sure that you've checked in your browser window? Like there should be a little bar that has like the microphone, a camera icon, a little screen with an arrow. Like it should be on that bar, like where the end call button is.
Yeah, where there is a red bar, it's the first button all the way at the left-hand side. The bar with the red button, the opposite end of that should have the microphone. Uh, and if that's not working for you, like I could see from the live stream aspect that my camera on the live stream isn't active because I don't have a camera set up. I can't help but think, I wonder if maybe your microphone did get unlodged or something may have happened. But unfortunately, that does put a hindrance in the question and answer portion of this. Definitely spies. I definitely agree. So Wanda, if you're willing to accept a one word or short handwritten answer, I can offer you the floor to try to get your question in to Chris. But unfortunately, that's a cute dog. We might be running out of the question answer portion. So Wanda and then Joe.
Well, unfortunately, I think my question might have required a little bit more of a thoughtful response. So, I guess skip me for now.
You got it. Thank you. All right, thank you, Wanda. Joe, go ahead.
Why don't we invite Miss Erickson over to a Discord conversation at some point in the near future, perhaps before the next meeting, in order to finish off questions and whatnot.
Unfortunately, I believe Miss Erickson does no longer uses the Discord. Joined the Discord, but then I believe deleted the Discord right away. Which is fine. Discord, I mean, if you're not used to it, it's a little confusing for sure. I hate Discord. They moderate me too much. I suppose I can't argue with that. So
They also want your ID now.
they do. It's true. Well, we're about hitting that point where we should probably reset the stream anyways. So why don't I do that really quick and then we'll continue on with this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, he's not as polite as she was. I mean,
I can't even hear the voice. I'm guessing every time we're back on stream. That said, the live stream has been reset from what I can tell, and again, we are just rocking and rolling with where we were. Discord violates freedom of speech. I can't help but agree. And we're trying to migrate. When we can migrate from Discord, I think we will. Unfortunately, we just haven't found the proper landing spot just yet. But I do believe we're moving at some point. So obviously, with this does kind of put a wrench in it. I'm sure people would like to have more questions for Chris, and if Chris can't answer them because of the microphone situation, then you know, I would like to ask you all since unless you have one word expectation answers from Chris, is there anything else you guys would like, or would you like to call a vote on an endorsement? Would you like to have this go on next week just to finish this out? Is there anything, I will leave the floor to discussion with you guys, because obviously this situation does make it a little more complicated to move forward just a straight endorsement, but I do leave the floor to you all.
I'm okay with voting.
All right, as I hear a call for the vote of endorsement, shall I just go with individual roll call?
Second.
A call for the vote in a second. So I will go individually. Sounds like we can go ahead with the endorsement process. So one by one, I will call the states to see if they do or do not endorse. Pennsylvania,
Aye.
Maryland,
Abstain.
Texas,
Aye.
Florida,
Present.
Massachusetts,
Oh, did Eli drop?
Eli did drop.
It's a tough call because I had more questions.
Well, shall I return to you? I'll let you decide because right now we are sitting at 2 ayes and an abstention and a present.
I actually would have to vote nay.
Okay, thank you. Florida. I'm sorry, Florida. Did we ever get an answer from you? Did I call on Florida yet?
You did call me. I voted present. I wanted to change my vote to nay.
Okay, so that is 2 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 abstain. Or was it a present? I believe it.
It was an abstain from Maryland.
Thank you. So it's 2 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 abstention. Indiana.
That'll be a nay.
Arizona.
Aye.
Thank you. Illinois.
Aye.
Thank you. Ohio.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the motion? I've been picking up an order.
Of course. Right
This
now
is
it
the
is
vote
the.
on. Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, thank you, Wanda. But it is the vote on endorsement for Chris.
Nay.
Thank you. Now I believe I did not hit everyone. I think I'm missing someone. Unless did we get a dropout from a voting member? We did. We lost California.
Did you call
So
Texas?
I'm sorry.
Did you call Texas?
I did this time. So we are actually sitting at 4, 1, and 4, which I don't believe.
That means you
Motion
cast.
fails.
You
Yeah, that
doesn't the chair have the tie-breaking vote for that?
Let me check
I
the
think that's the
bylaws.
only. I think isn't that the only time that the chair weighs in with a vote?
I believe that is so.
I mean, that might not
I
actually
don't
be what our.
see anything that says that in the bylaws.
I don't think it was an official rule.
there no position on a tie-breaking vote.
I think if it's tied, the motion fails.
Let's see. That might just be the case, unless I do indeed get a vote, which the bylaws does not state. I guess the only thing I can really do, and I hate to put the position on to our abstaining member, however, with a vote of 4, 1, and 4, that would be a tie-breaking vote.
I vote nay.
Well, there we go. Well, Chris, thank you for seeking out our endorsement, and I do think we can still help you as best we can when it comes to. Well, there you go. When it comes to petitioning and volunteering, however, the party has spoken, and Chris Erickson has not received our endorsement. So, thank you, folks. Well, it happens, and better luck next time. To anyone watching who may be discouraged, if nothing else, know that means the Pirate Party will hear out all callers, but doesn't mean we accept all callers. So, as much as it would be nice to endorse candidates, it doesn't mean you running simply means you get our endorsement. Joe, go ahead.
May I just write why I dissented against voting for her real quick, just to add some clarity? And you guys can agree with me or disagree with me, but I think it for the record, I would just like to say why.
You have the floor.
I think that we are well known for being the party of the internet. And I think it was very telling that what she was saying about not being able to connect to the younger voters. And I think that's very, very important to connect to all people, all ages of life. But I think, too, just not being able to. I think that because she wasn't trying to be a pirate to begin with and build the pirate coalition and just trying to come in being like, I've run for all this time, look at all the stuff I've done. Oh, you can write in pirate if you come and help and do this for me. I didn't want to put in the work for candidate just looking to use the party. And that's what I felt out of that. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I appreciate the honesty, Joe. And I can't say I didn't pick up on certain things that you were picking up on in your assessment. And Jester, I'll let you answer this because I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I also felt as though the age question that Jester presented was valid and did not receive a what I would call proper answer. I felt it was a statement of fact that disregarded the fact that that is the main concern that people were having to begin with. I think 1/3 of Congress being over 70 isn't helping their case. I think that that's the issue at hand people were having. But Jester, then Mars.
Yeah, I was actually going to go off on that because I really did not care for the answer that she gave. It felt like I got another Democrat trying to convince me to vote for them in the Senate elections response of, "Oh, I have experience." I'm like, "Great, that is the problem, is that you are connected to DC, that you have connections to the fucking patent office." Sorry, pardon my French, but it didn't feel like the answer was meant for the young people under the age of 50. I'm sorry, but I'm like, if we want to grow the party, we can't be, you know, I don't think that endorsing her was it was a good move, and I'm glad we didn't because I was actually checking her record. It appears to me that she's a single issue campaigner and focused almost, exclusively on marijuana and to some extent the medical industry, which to me was not a good sign of what her policies would be if she was even elected. And I agree with Joe that it felt like it was just using us to, look for some free help rather than to actually try and grow the pirates. And I also just didn't really like the answer to the youth vote because I am one of the younger members, and it felt like she was just talking down to me like, "Oh, I have experience." And I'm like, "Yeah, the fact that that's your answer tells me you are not much like the rest of the Democratic Party these days. That was not the answer I was looking for, and that shows that you're not ready to be a representative of the country." And that is my 2 cents on that issue.
Thank you, Jester. Mars, then Joel.
So, what I like, regardless of age, which I wasn't really asking that question just because I keep my age to myself specifically because, you know, the moment you mention your age, you get an immediate opinion. But I just kind of felt that, no matter what her age was, a lot of her views and reasonings, like fundamentally, I agreed with her points, but her reasoning was incredibly naive and nearsighted. Not fleshed out. There was no actual citable evidence for anything. It was all anecdotes and opinions. And I just can't support somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right on. I appreciate this conversation. It is nice to have a fallout of an endorsement that didn't pass, because especially for those of you that are watching at home that may one day seek the endorsement of the United States Pirate Party, it is very healthy to see that we aren't just going to accept everybody just because you're looking. So I really appreciate this discourse right now. Jill, go ahead.
So as I'm currently writing, the articles of the hunt for, the Maryland Pirate Party, which, would be my planks. It requires me to sit down and think deeply about these issues and to continue to collect information and understand where and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And to Mars's point, the depth just wasn't there. Giving me a cookie cutter stamp on various areas of the military industrial complex, big pharma, and one cookie cutter approach to everything. Just it lacked genuineness. So that's where I'm at.
Well, thank you guys. And again, as much as I liked Chris personally, I can't help but I can't find myself disagreeing with any of the points that you guys are saying, at all. So you guys are rock stars for being able to articulate this. And again, I'm glad that this is happening. Jester, then Joe.
I also want to point out that during this time, I was doing a little bit of research on her, just because I'm like, okay, I might as well know who she is. And the fact that what she, I think maybe this is me thinking because it was her response to my question, was how much she talked about her experience, her, how long she's been around. And I'm like, yeah, your Wikipedia page basically says you lost a bunch of times. What have you actually, if you want to say you have experience, what have you materially done to benefit the people of Vermont? Like, what have you done? And if you're going to come up here to be like, oh, I want to be a U.S. senator for the state of Vermont, where is your credentials
I
here?
believe she was running for representative.
Or representative? Sorry. But it was, I'm still on that point. I was like, this just feels like we're, being grifted to be honest. Also, it doesn't help that the website is painfully out of date. And it also did feel like she was sort of maybe an old member of the Tea Party back in the day, or at least it felt like that, considering, a significant portion of the webpage on WordPress here is dedicated to taxes, like, a tax revolt, as it's stated here. It is time for a tax revolution, which is, admittedly, I can understand the, point that she's making there, but it's like, if you're, this feels like what we were talking about 10, 15, 20 years ago, not the now. Because now people don't just care about the fact that corporations aren't taxed, it's the fact that most of them can really easily get away with nothing while destroying our country. And just because you want a, share in the profits that they make, what about the fact that they're still scamming, what if scamming, healthcare people and, people who need healthcare in the United States? What are we doing to reduce costs for the Americans? What are we doing to reduce the cost of living? And the fact that that appeared to just escape her shows, at least in my opinion, just how out of touch the candidate was. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jester. And then Joe, go ahead.
I mean, it was pretty clear to me with her that she made some talking points to appeal to the pirates, but didn't fundamentally understand who we are as a group and why we're so influential, and why we've existed as long as we have, and why we're actually a little bit more serious on a world stage. But I did have a motion to throw at you guys because I agree with 99% of everything Wanda does. And so I would like to throw out that motion that all meetings are now recorded, because I don't want what happened last week to happen ever again. And I think if we're meeting, we should use it to publicize what we're doing
and we shouldn't be doing stuff from the shadows. We should record everything, even if it's just a relaxed meeting, even if we're just all getting drunk together. We should record it. In fact, we should get more drunk together, more grog for everybody.
So Joe, am I hearing that correct?
Illegally drunk.
Is that a motion to live stream every meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
more cameras.
Right on. So there is a motion on the table. Want to go ahead?
I was going to ask the same question you just asked, Mitch. Since you've already asked it, I will second that motion.
All right. Drew's gonna be pissed. There's a motion on the table in a second. Talk to me, folks. How are we feeling about this?
I will make it happen if I have to. Make it so.
After seeing the confusion that we had last week, I agree. I think that the only reason I withdrew my second is because it was of the openness, and I wanted to support moving forward in every meeting that we have. I don't really think we should be having a meeting if we can't make progress.
That's right on. So in that case, I'm willing to identify the Pirate National. I mean, this is still Pirate National Committee business every week happening as it is. But really, this just becomes a motion to start live streaming the open meetings, which everyone's allowed to come to. And I would probably just put it in the YouTube studio that, this is still the USPP regular meeting, but then we would have the USPP open meeting, which I guess would be the only real differentiating factor. But otherwise, like I said, discussion's still open.
I think we can call the vote.
I just want to say about damn time.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, right on. Calling the vote. Unless we have a call for individual, I'll just ask for unanimous. Is there
I would
any?
like for individual votes on a change like this.
Right on. Okay. In that case, I go in order in which I see them. And apologies if I skip you. So in fact, I'm not going to let that happen. Texas.
Nay.
Oh, fantastic. Indiana.
Aye.
Maryland.
Aye.
Ohio.
Aye.
Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Hello, Massachusetts. We are calling the vote on your motion. Is that a yay or a nay?
That would be a yay.
Thank you. Arizona.
For example, when the benefits of record keeping outweigh the costs of storage space.
I'm sorry. What? What was the answer? I'm sorry.
For when the benefits of record keeping outweigh the cost of storage space. Just to see if I'm on track.
I'm sorry, Arizona. Is that an abstention? Is that an yay? It is an aye. Okay, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure. So thank you. Florida.
Aye.
Thank you. And based on my count, we had lost Pennsylvania, Illinois, and California, meaning we only have 7 members left, and those are 7 votes, 6-1. It sounds like it would have passed even if the 3 that had showed up, didn't drop out. So, folks, starting next week, the Pirate National Committee, the open meeting one that is available, a link to all viewers at home. If you check the Discord description, you will see it. You will be able to join us there. We will have them live every week. So next week we'll be back. It'll be an open meeting. That'll be the difference. It'll say USPP open meeting, even though it'll still be a Pirate National Committee meeting, but it'll switch off. Instead of seeing us every 2 weeks, we'll see you next week. Motion passes. Fantastic. Is there anything else we want to get done tonight?
Motion
Because
to adjourn.
if not, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. And that is my motion. That's my second. Are there any objections? Folks, thank you so much for joining us for the May 17th Pirate National Committee meeting. If you were expecting an endorsement, apologies. But that's the way it goes sometimes. And frankly, the more I'm sitting with it, the more I'm happy that we set standards for ourselves. A party called the Pirate Party has to be serious at some point, and I appreciate that we know how to draw that line. Uh, Endorsements for Vermin Supreme, no endorsements for Chris Erickson. Folks, thank you so much for attending. We will be back next week for an open meeting. And Drew is gone. So, Joe, do you know why I love this party?
Because you're allowed to have a beard.
Well, yes, of course. But I love this party because we believe the United States should be a good neighbor. We believe in cool, clean water, like Hank said. And we believe if purchasing isn't ownership, well, then piracy isn't theft. 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 Folks, thank you for watching. Have a good night. Vote pirate, and victory is ours.